you know about Association of Indian Management Schools? It's a 34-year-old networking body of B schools in India, having a membership of about 600 top management institutions. AIMS focuses on professionalization of management education, protects interests of B schools, represents management institutions at national and international forums, financially supports members in academic events, funds research projects on management, disseminates management-related knowledge through its annual Management Education Convention, conferences, seminars, roundtables and workshops, organizes free weekly webinars on knowledge sharing and inspiring young leaders sessions for management faculty and students, supports B schools in admissions through Atma, AIMS test for management admissions. Visit https://atmaims.com for more details. Publishes a biannual AIMS Journal of Management. Visit https://aimsjournal.com for more details. Circulates a quarterly e-newsletter on AIMS activities. Conducts workshops on case writing. Encourages AIMS members to be part of decision-making processes as members of chapter management committees and the executive board. Encourages students' participation in free weekly quiz competitions by providing support to interested institutions. Facilitates networking and interaction among B schools. Why would you like to remain a non-member of AIMS? Pay a very low one-time membership fee and enjoy many lifetime benefits. Visit https://aims.org.in for more details. A very good afternoon to one and all present over here. Respected speaker, Dr. Padmalita Routray, the organizing team of AIMS. On behalf of everyone, I welcome you all to this learning session. And the topic for today's session is Common Good HRM, an Emerging Reality. And regarding that particular topic, before I explain about this particular topic, I just want to introduce myself. I am Dr. Leena P Singh. I am working as assistant professor in the Department of Business Administration, Ravenshaw University, Cuttack. The city is in Odisha. So before I introduce you all to the speaker, I just wanted to tell you in brief about today's topic. The area of HRM is ever expanding, and in today's context, we are talking about the concept of sustainable HRM. In that context, companies are trying a lot hard to combine people, profit, and planet together. So in that regard, in context of sustainable HRM, we as HR faculties or in total management faculties or academicians or people who are working in corporates, we are inclined towards adopting strategies that are eco-friendly, environment-friendly, or I should say planet-friendly. In that context, the HR function is also evolving, and we are talking about socially responsible HRM, which incorporates to enhance the employee work experience and that is matching with the organizational goals and objectives, and that is also incorporating the social expectations of the employees who are working in the organization. In that context, under sustainable HRM, we are also talking a lot about green HRM, where in context of green HRM, we are including all the HRM practices that like interviewing or employee onboarding, that is in sync with the goal of environmental sustainability. And in this particular context, the latest that we are talking about is the Common Good HRM. This is in the sphere of academic research or organizational understanding. This is a bit of a new topic, and we are through this platform today, we are trying to do our bit in terms of thoughts and action, and we are initiating the process of understanding this new concept that is uh, uh, getting a lot of attention in the academic as well as in the organizational circle. So before I hand over the session to Padmalita Madam, I just wanted to introduce her to this platform. Our speaker for today is Dr. Padmalita Routray. She is working as Associate Professor and head of the department in the Department of Business Administration, Fakir Mohan University, Balasore. She started her career as JRF under UGC and has been associated with various reputed B schools prior to her joining Fakir Mohan University in 2004. In a career spanning 20 years, she has guided 8 PhDs and 14 MPhil scholars, and several others are actively doing research work under her guidance at MPhil as well as PhD level. More than 60 research papers contributions in international and national seminars and conferences, 80 numbers of research publications in national and international journals, conference proceedings, book chapters, and books are the highlights of her research credentials. She is a regular resource person for training programs to senior scientists of DRDO, PXC, and ITR Chandipur, besides to various other organizations of national repute. She has authored 5 books, and the highly acclaimed book is HRD and Organizational Effectiveness and Inclusive Growth in New Market Regime. She is also the recipient of Best Research Paper Award in the Eastern Region Convention of ISTD 2011, and Shama Bandhu Mishra Gold Medal in HR Excellence from NIPM Utkal chapter for the session 2015-16. She has successfully completed a research project on effectiveness of training and competency mapping awarded by DRDO. She is active in professional association like NHRD, ISTD, ISLE, and OCA. At present, she is leading ISTD Balasore chapter as chairperson. She has organized several national and international seminars. Her teaching proficiency includes strategic HRM, human resource development, organizational behavior, research methodology, HR analytics, and business ethics. Dr. Routray has discharged several administrative responsibilities in Fakir Mohan University. She is well known in academic and corporate circles for her teaching, research, and training skills. So without further delay, Madam, I am handing over the session to you. We are very keen to learn from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Leena. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, Madam, you are audible.
Okay. Can I share my screen? Am I allowed to share my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Okay. My screen is visible to all of you?
Yes, madam, it is visible.
Good afternoon, all. First of all, it's my privilege to address such an august gathering where the participants are from different states and from different fraternity, both academicians and industry personnel. First, I'm very thankful to Association of Indian Management School for giving me this opportunity to address such August gathering. Today, we will be discussing something interesting and something which is an emerging area. And today, I have decided to discuss this particular topic because in future years, we, the academician, along with the industry practitioner, can do some meaningful research and can transfer these research findings to the organizational setting, or we can have some kind of evidence when we are practicing using this new approach of HRM. I'm very thankful for Leena for introducing me, but one thing I will like to say that I'm very keen in working in new area, because whenever we are having some kind of research, we must have some kind of application in the industry world. Otherwise, research will be confined only to our academic fraternity. It should be moving to the industry fraternity. I discussed this topic with my local industry people, the Balasore Chamber of Commerce and North Odisha Chamber of Commerce and Industries. And they like the topic and they are also interested for doing some more research work in this field. So I thought that this should not be confined to this particular local area. We should extend and share my views with others so that others can also do some kind of research in this emerging area. Before we have a discussion, let me put my agenda, what I am having. My first agenda is to introduce what is common good and what is common good approach. That is my point which I want to highlight. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I just have to adjust my video. Thank you. The second point, we will be discussing about how the HRM purpose is moving from economic purpose to common good purpose. What is sustainable HRM? I'm thankful to Leena, who has introduced the topic very nicely, but we'll be going very detailed about how common good HRM fit into sustainable HRM. Then we will be also discussing a little bit on common good HRM and SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals, which is our immediate agenda, where many organizations are focusing on SDG. It is the 2030 agenda. So to some extent, HRM is also going to address this SDG goal. Many organizations are also addressing this particular goal. Second, the last point, we will be discussing what is there for today's discussion so far as the practitioner and researcher are concerned. I hope with this flow of my talk will help the audience to come up with some questions so that we can have some kind of discussion at the end. And it is not going to just end with the session. We can carry forward this activity for further research and further practice. When we talk about common good, what exactly we talk about? First of all, when we're talking about the society in which we are living, the community whom we are serving, or the reason for which we are existing cannot be ignored or cannot be isolated from organizational functioning. Some of the conditions are common not only to the community, to the society, but also to the group of people who sometimes are also known as stakeholders. And even if they are not directly our stakeholders, but indirectly, we have to address those issues because it may affect us in long run. For example, if I talk about youth, then we talk about the next thing, their unemployment situation. The next we talk about the employability, whether we can make them employable. Then the next we talk about that whether they can be employable through skilling or through creating some kind of entrepreneurial opportunities by providing some kind of training or education to them in the entrepreneur field. And indirectly, we are also creating our own labor market for the future. This is a common good, common thing, common interest, which is not only beneficial for us, but beneficial for others because they belong to that common interest group. There may be some question may be arise that what is the difference between public good and common good? Public good means it is accessible to anyone. But when we are talking about common good, it is a part of the public good which have some kind of interest for some specific group or from some specific community. Here we are talking about youth, we are talking about skilling, we are talking about unemployment, then we are talking about only that part of the population. Second part, we are talking about when the concept of common good, we are talking about goodness rather than rightness. What is our right or duty? We are not confined to that. We are going beyond that. That goodness means I'm doing something good for others, good for the society, for the community, which is going to also pay back to me in future. Third aspect, we talk about common good serve a special class of interest. Nowadays, a lot of us are talking about inclusiveness, workplace inclusiveness. We can say that workplace inclusiveness should not be our limited scope. Our scope should also move from having an inclusive workplace to make inclusion of those people who are otherwise are marginalized in the society, are not empowered socially or economically. So we can address those group of people. So it is not confined within the organization. We have to go beyond the organization. The last part, when we are talking about concept of common good, we are talking about stakeholder participation in co-creation. All of us or many of us are in academic fraternity. Whenever UGC floats any kind of new draft regulation, it floats into the public domain so that any stakeholders can give opinion or can give suggestion or comment on that draft before it is finally made as a regulation. That means we are participating in co-creating the policies or regulation. Similarly, when we are talking about co-creation, we are talking about a customer, what kind of customer opinion we should take into account so that we can recreate the product and service. What kind of opinion we are going to take from the employee so that employee can have more meaningful workplace and more engagement can be done. So that's why co-creation, and in HR field, we call it HR co-creation. This is also an emerging field within the Common Good HRM. So these are the four things when we are talking about Common Good HRM. Sorry, not Common Good HRM, Common Good. Then what is this Common Good approach? In a very simple way, there are many things, many philosophy are attached. A philosophy person, a political science person, an economics person, a management person, everyone can use this common good approach. But basically, when we go through all these discipline, we can come across with one agenda or one thing that what make an effective contribution for resolving sustainability challenges, which we are collectively facing today. Or before 2 years back, when pandemic was a situation, it was a collective challenge. So many things innovated at that time. Many things happened at that time. Many changes happened at that time. Many difficulties we faced. So that gives gave us a clue that we should also think of some kind of challenges which we are collectively facing. Climate is a challenge. It is not for one or for other organization. It is for everyone. It is not for one individual or other. It is for everyone. It is a global challenge. So we cannot forget those things which is not our current concern, but our future concern. When we are using the word sustainability, we are not concerned about just the present, but also to the future. So when we are using this common good approach, we are talking about more about the sustainability. We are talking about the future generation, the future of our society, the future of our community, the future of our existence. So that's why to make an effective contribution for resolving the sustainability challenges, irrespective of the discipline, it's called your common good approach. Then when we are trying to link the common good to the HRM, then what is the difference? The one thing I think all of you know, and I'm just again repeating the same thing, we all are well versed with the triple bottom line reporting. People, planet, and profit. But another P we are also adding nowadays, and that's why we're talking about quadruple reporting. Fourth P is called purpose. Why we exist? What is our reason of existence? What we support for? What we value? What we are known for? So we have some kind of purpose. So HRM, when becomes a purpose-driven, it is not just going to support just the short run or the long run economic goals of the organization, but also creating a purpose-driven organization. So that's why the HR manager having a common good approach extends support to the leader. So we, the HR, in the academic field or in the practice as a practitioner, should become a support system for the leader, for the business leader in creating a purpose-driven organization. So that is the shifting of the purpose of the HRM from economic to common good. How it is being done, we will be also discussing. Why earlier approaches were more economic, whether short run or long run, that we will be discussing. Let us first understand that when we're talking about a purpose-driven organization, we are first talking about one concept that's called sustainable HRM. Plenty of articles, plenty of research is being done on sustainable HRM. But we should be very well versed what is this concept, how this concept is segregated into different dimensions. All of you can see that we are having the 4 different types of approaches in sustainable HRM. The first approach, as Leena has told earlier, we call it a type 1 approach, socially responsible HRM. Second one is called green HRM, not the triple bottom line, it is the green HRM. And third one is called triple bottom line approach, HRM. And we have kept all these 3 in the same axis and common good in a different axis. Why? All these 3 approaches, socially responsible HRM, green HRM, and triple bottom line HRM, has one common thing that's called, it is an inside out approach. It is an, again, I'm repeating, it is an inside out approach. Whatever we do, we focus on one thing, one purpose or one goal, or multiple purpose or multiple goal, but ultimate objective is to benefit the organization from economic perspective. In long run, obviously, when we talk about sustainability means we are talking about long run. So that's why it is always an inside out approach. Whatever we are doing, what is the impact on the environment, on the society, or both? But when we talk about common good HRM, it is just the opposite. It is not the inside out approach, it is the outside in approach. So that's why we not only concerned about the organization, rather we focus more on the environment and how this environment affect our organization and our HR practices, our employee. That will be the second concern. Primary concern is the environment in which we are operating, because it is an outside in approach, not inside out approach. So that is the basic difference which we are going to find out when we are adopting this common good HRM. There is also a risk when we are talking about when people are going to adopt it or not, because when we talk about public organization, government organization, they can easily sit. But is it really going to happen in private sectors, in corporate houses, which are not government run or which are not public sector organizations, whether they can adopt this common good HRM? So that is the fundamental question arises. So we will be discussing what is there, that how we can make it a reality. Now, before going a further discussion into the sustainable HRM, I would like to have a understanding of the classification what we have discussed. There is 4 classification, and we want to move from type 1 to type 4. So what is this type 1? Type 1 is all about your socially responsible HRM. And what is there in type 1? As I told earlier, inside out means whatever we are doing, we want to find out what is its impact socially, what is the social impact, and at the same time while evaluating our economic performance. So our economic performance is evaluated, but we also want to find out what is the impact on the socially, whether what kind of impact it creates. So we are taking into one parameter that whatever activity is being done by the organization, what is its societal impact. So that's why we say that it is beyond the organizational boundary, but in present times. We are not talking about future. Whatever currently we are doing, what is its impact on the people who are beyond our organization. So that's why we have socially responsible HR behavior and practices. And we give importance to 2 things, economic and social values. And most of the like reporting, GRI reporting, global reporting index have a lot of parameters under this social impact. And we can measure how the organization activities or practices is having such kind of impact. Next, we have green HRM, which is very tied to. It is also very much discussed, rather being practiced. Rather, we say that many organizations are going for green products or services, but how far HRM system or HRM practices and behavior are reflection in the activities of the organization, and which may be the one of the reason for creation of green product and services. So this is the second aspect where our concern is on environment. Again, it is also inside out approach. But here we talk about how we can use HRM to embed green values across an organization. Many of us try to reduce our carbon footprint. A simple practice, we are sharing a car, a pool car to move to office. It is going to have a lesser carbon footprint because a large number of vehicles will not be used by the single organization. We are having a flexi work approach where we can have work from home and as well as work from office, where we are also reducing the travel time. Also, we are trying to reduce some of the impact when we are doing it from work from home, and we are not using paper and other things. So a paperless office. But yes, there is other side is also there. Whenever we are having a computer, more computer uses are there, e-waste and the impact of computers in terms of other kind of pollution is also there. But still, we can say that whatever practices we are adopting, whether those practices are based on green values of the organization. I'll give my university as an example. We have created some of the practices like a vehicle-free zone. We don't use vehicle inside the campus. We are just also having no plastic kind of concept where there is no plastics, bottles or any kind of things which are made of plastic is being allowed. Third, we are also having our innovation center where we are talking about the technology which are going to recycle the plastics and create some kind of products in consultation with the industry. So this type of green values we are having. So we regularly conduct green audit to find out how, to what extent or to what percentage our electricity is from renewable sources or from non-renewable sources. So these are the something. But these practices has to be sustained through HRM. Awareness, sensitization, training, reinforcement through reward mechanism, evaluation of people performance where green is green values and green performance is one of the parameter. If this is the case, then we say that yes, we are adopting green HRM practices. Which I say that green HRM behavior and practices. Here we can also talk about two types of behavior. One is pro-environment behavior, where it is a kind of voluntary behavior. People sow on their own. And one is a compliance kind of behavior. Right? For example, nobody has banned you, but you don't take a vehicle inside the campus and you are using bicycle or you are walking through the campus or using battery-operated vehicle like. So it is a pro behavior. So nobody has asked me, but I am doing it. Economic and ecological values. Here we are not talking about social values. We are only talking about economic values along with the ecological value. That means whatever activities we are doing, whatever product and services we are creating, and whatever services we are giving, it must have better impact on the environment and the negative consequences are less. Third type of HRM is called your triple bottom line HRM. It is a combination of the first two. It is a type 3 where we talk about, again, it is also inside out, but we take both the things into consideration, both environment and societal impact. So it is a win-win kind of situation. What we try to do, there is an economic win, there is an environment win, and there is a minimum societal impact. So we want to minimize the negative impact on the environment, negative impact on the society, while still maintaining our economic betterment of the organization in long run. So that is the triple bottom line type of HRM where we give importance to all these things. And it is mostly practiced by many organizations through, again, reporting the different kind of global reporting index we try to do. So every organization, besides their annual report, they have their sustainable reporting. So whenever you go to any of the website of any progressive organization, they have two types of thing. One is annual report and the second one is sustainable report. And in sustainable reporting, we have three sections: economic section, environment section, and the social or the people section. 3 P's are equally addressed. So here, the contribution of behavior of people and practices to measure corporate sustainability and to perform whatever HRM functions we are performing, try to perform sustainably. Now, many organizations during COVID has adopted online recruitment system, even online boarding also, and still they are continuing with the same thing. It is going to have a lot of impact in terms of not only saving time, saving cost, but also having minimization of negative impact, like we are not using paper, we are not traveling a lot. In that case, we are trying to protect a lot from environmental perspective and from economic perspective. And also we are able to reach a large number of talent pool within short possible time. So that also we can say that it has some kind of triple bottom line HRM impact. The last, which is our point of, and here reporting is also on all these three aspects, which I have already told. The next point, which is more important for all of us to understand, that what is Common Good HRM. That is the most important thing. This is the type 4 and the latest one. This is the one where we are having outside-in approach. We'll be going in detail what is it and how we can implement it. It uses our HRM competencies, which includes our HRM knowledge, skills, attitude, to determine or to find out ways through which we can contribute to the common good, which I already discussed in my first slides. What is common good and what kind of common good approach we are going to have. And try to help in solving the grand challenges, the environmental challenges, the sustainability challenges, the challenges of efficiency or incorporating technology to improve the service cycle or product life cycle improvement. A lot of things are there. So we have to address those grand challenges. Then behavior and practices that enhance common good. Like, I'm not talking about just my employee. So we can just think of something like just how to recruit the best talented people from the labor market is not the objective. Rather, our objective is how to create a very highly talented labor pool, or sorry, talent pool, by giving them more skilling program, training them, and preparing a skill base for a particular industry or a particular sector, making the youth more employable, or investing on those marginalized groups who are otherwise do not have access to quality education or quality training, for which they are unemployed. So we are spending much on those activities. So that's why here behavior and practices that enhances common good. Here, many of the organizations are trying to integrate CSR activities and HRM activities, where the CSR, which is addressing to the people who are outside or beyond the boundaries, and HR is helping them to achieve this particular goal, which is called a common good. Here, we also contribute to economic, social, ecological, and human dimension. But here, as I told, it is for common good. It is not within the organization. It is for the environment in which we are operating. So we want to create suppose we want to support the SDG goal, we can support the SDG goal in terms of like ending poverty by making access to the employment, or economically empowering the people so that we can end the poverty. So we are indirectly contributing to achieve the first goal of SDG. Similarly, there are 17 goals are there. Directly or indirectly, we are trying to address all those goals. So this is one of the reason of common good HR. Then in case of common good HRM, what I told earlier, that one is the stakeholder orientation is there. So every HRM activities are co-created with the involvement of external and internal stakeholders. So that is more meaningful. The most important aspect in case of also the common good HRM is that how we address the SDG goals. Sorry. Here we use three approaches through which HRM can address the sustainable development goal. One is we can have responsibility-oriented approach. When we are talking about responsibility-oriented approach, first thing is that we have to operate as an open system model. That means environment is the reason for which we are existing. So we have to analyze what is happening in the environment. What changes are happening? Technological changes, ecological changes, then we are talking about demographic changes, social and political changes. So we have to find out that what kind of changes which are happening in the environment. So environmental analysis is a must. So whenever we are trying to have a responsibility-oriented system, first of all, we think that we are operating as an open system model. Here we are talking about employees' well-being, and also to some extent we can talk about the community well-being or community prosperity. So that's why when we are talking about employee work-life balance, we are extending it to the family of the employee. So life satisfaction of the employee, that is work-life satisfaction, and that means within the work how your family is affecting your work or work is affecting your family. So in both the way we are talking about, and we are more concerned about not just work-life balance, but we are also talking about life satisfaction. Second, we are talking about community prosperity, where we are operating, how we are developing that surrounding in terms of skill, in terms of health, in terms of education, in terms of other well-being of the community, like access to the minimum thing like transport, health facilities, and other. So we may become a partner to the government to provide this kind of facilities along with our CSR funding. So this kind of things also we can talk about. Then quality of work-life balance. Right now we talk about employee well-being, community well-being, and quality of work-life balance. It is very, very important. So in many organizations or in many country, they are having a shorter week and more meaningful work within that shorter period of week, and trying to have a more balance by addressing to the family issues and other issues. So there are a lot of things are there. So where we have to talk about the quality of work-life balance. For example, many of the married women, after getting married, they leave their job. So a sizable number of workforce is out of workforce participation. Suppose they want to return to the work after 5 years or 10 years when their family is settled, and how we can help them to be the part of the mainstream directly or indirectly. So that also talks about this responsibility-oriented approach. Second approach, we can talk about efficiency-oriented and innovation-oriented approach when trying to address the SDG goals. Balance between profit and cost, that is very much there. Because when we are not having a balance between profit and cost, we cannot be sustainable. So we cannot just have indefinite way of spending. We should have a prudent way through which we are spending, how we are utilizing our human resources, and how we are having meaningful work, how we are making a balance between the technology and other tools and techniques to have a better way of serving within the organization or beyond the organization. Focus on changes in the environment. So every kind of training we have to give to the community of people. That is, for example, we are taking many of the products which are full of toxic. We are taking many of the foods which are not safe for our health. So if this type of problem arises, then we may not have healthy people. And if healthy people are not there, then we may have a problem of human sustainability in future. So it take into consideration of those changes which are happening in the environment. We also have to take into account the technological progress. And that's why we have to talk about the human-machine interaction for a positive benefit, not for a negative benefit. That is the most important thing in Common Good HRM. Then quality of service and products. So we try to have minimum error. We try to have the best of product and best of services to be given by the people. So we must focus more on innovation. So whenever we are trying to address the SDG goal, we try to become more innovative organizations, and by focusing more on external partners, educational institutions, scientific laboratories, and others. So more we have partnership, more we can talk about all these things. Then we talk about the last one. We can have a substance-oriented approach. Substance-oriented approach is another way where we are having responsible consumption and reproduction. Another good initiative we have taken in our university, we are not, whenever we are trying to ban the plastics, means the plastic bottles are also not allowed. Whenever we are having any kind of products which are being procured, we are trying to find out that whether it is environment friendly or not. Similar kind of things also we can go for in any kind of consumption, responsible consumption and reproduction. So recycling, reuse is also a concept where we cannot degrade the environment, rather recycle it again and again and create a new type of product and service. That is the most important way where Common Good HRM can contribute. So here we are also sensitizing, making aware the people, the community who are associated for having responsible consumption. I may have an organic food prepared by my startup, but who are going to consume it? So we have to make aware of the consumer that why they should go for this kind of organic product. What is responsible consumption? What is reproduction? These kind of things also the HR play a direct or indirect role. Human responsibility, it is not just within the organization, but beyond the organization for community also. Even if you look into the police system of our country, there is a concept is coming, community police system. So involvement of the community to reduce crime. So it's not that you are just going to have administrative activities and crime is going to be reduced. So we are having a community police kind of policing kind of thing. The community is involved. Every human being is involved in delivering the best. So that's why we are talking about common good. What is good for us means a crime-free society peacefully. The women can feel safe when they're working outside at any time, and it is possible. So we have some kind of human responsibility. So here we are focusing on that. Farm efficiency is very, very important. For example, nowadays it is mandatory for every vehicle to declare the fuel efficiency norms. What will happen that obviously the consumption of the diesel or petrol will be reduced. Earlier it was not there. Many companies are going for hybrid vehicle so that they are going to use lesser fuel, which is not a non-renewable. Electric vehicles are being promoted. So we are talking about the farm efficiency by talking about those substance-oriented approach. Accordingly, we have to select people who can deliver this kind of thing. We have to train people. We have to appraise and reward. So all your HR practices are adopted according to these particular aspects where we are going to have a substance-oriented approach. The most important thing is resource management. All of us know that we have a limited resources. What we can do with the limited resources? Paper industry, very old way, all of you know that they're recycling the papers and creating for reuse. Many activities are being done with where we are minimizing the resources which are scarcely available. We are having other alternative resources, alternative energy, alternative facilities, alternative methods, alternative tools. So that's why we are talking much about resource. And resource is not limited just to the tangible. It goes both the tangible as well as the intangible resources. So we cannot say that we can do everything automated. So if machine learning is happening, human learning is also happening. So how we combine both machine learning and human learning for organizational learning? If I can do this way, we can manage the resource in a better. Suppose I'm having a lot of stocks in a retail store. Which stocks are more accepted? Which stocks are not accepted? What is the behavior of the consumer inside the mall? How the sales people can respond? We can use the machine learning concept to improve our human learning. And both can simultaneously give us organizational learning. So that is the way where we can make more resource management in a better way. The last slide, with this we will end and we can have a discussion regarding the questions, because it is, I do not want a monologue session. What is the implication for practitioner and research? We academicians always engage in research. Without research, without practitioner viewpoint, we cannot give the best to our students inside the classroom. So we must have a practitioner perspective and a researcher perspective. What is the practitioner perspective? Here we have three things which we are going to address. One thing is that called protecting the human rights beyond business to meet the grand challenges. Again, I'm talking about, when we talk about the human rights, we talk about the marginalized group. We talk about creating an inclusive society where each and every person within the different strata are having access to the basic rights. So here, what is the role of the HR practitioner to protect the human rights? It is no more the job of the government, no more the job of human rights activist. It is still can be extended by whom we say that it is the practitioner. At micro level, organizational practices we can adopt, where we can have more broader micro level societal needs through democratic approaches and co-creation. Means involvement of stakeholders in decision-making process and co-creating. A good product, a good service can be created by the involvement of the consumer. A good workplace can be created with the involvement of union, involvement of the workers and employees. So that should be our approach. The next point is that facing youth unemployment. That is one of the biggest challenge for practitioner when we are adopting Common Good HRM. Many organizations are doing. They're going beyond their traditional role and using their CSR fund for this, addressing this youth unemployment. The last one is called researcher perspective. Impact of socio-economic external factors in creating common good approach. What changes are happening? We have to frequently make some kind of impact survey, some kind of need survey frequently. And what changes are happening in different socio-economic area, we have to address more onto that. How common good values can be integrated with traditional HRM practices? It is not different. It's not that we are going to leave our traditional practices, but yes, we have to redefine our job. We have to redefine our job description, rewrite our job description. You have to re-mention our job specification. We have to again clarify the roles of the people so that we can integrate it. And the last is that how we are going to manage conflict of interest while making choices among sustainable HRM type. Shall we go for type 1 or we should go for this type 4? Or how we are going to make a trade-off between all these 4 approaches? Which one is good for me? Which one is beneficial for me from my industry perspective, from my local environment perspective, from my society perspective, or from global perspective? That should be addressed. So these are some of the things the researchers should concentrate and give input to the practitioner so that we can use this evidence-based research for practice. And again, practice should be researched. So that is in both ways it can complement with each other. With this, I conclude one thing, that here HRM can play a transformational role by moving from within the boundary to the beyond the boundary. All of you know that technology has invaded into the HR function. Whether HR is going to stay or it is going to perish. No, HR is going to perform. It is not going to perish. But the role has to be redefined, because we, instead of having a single or multiple inside-out approach to outside-in approach, where the objective is to create a purpose and value-driven organization that can be sustained. With this, I thank all the participants, and the questions can be also asked. With that, we will end. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we will take questions in the chat box. If you have any questions.
at 3:19, somebody wrote slides not changing. I have very few slides. Whenever I was discussing in the slides, I'm only discussing on that particular slide. Yes. I think somebody has opened the video. Siddharth, do you have any question?
So as we wait for the participants to come up with some questions, ma'am. In the meantime, thank you very much for this enriching deliberation on this topic. I have a small question, if I may ask the first person to raise a question.
Yes,
Madam, you yourself have been a senior academician. You are you are a researcher, and also you are a consultant to many organizations. So I just wanted to ask you regarding this now, how do you see the suitability of this common good approach for organizations? Like, we always have been taught when we were studying that money is the lifeblood of the organization. Profit is the only objective for which the organization is, thriving and doing business or selling goods. And so it's like I perceive that common good approach is going to be, it is going to have a tussle between money and values. So, madam, how you understand this aspect?
Sorry. Thank you, Leena. The one most important thing is that I'll just give you one example. All of you know that the CSR funds cannot be now directly spent by the company. They have to do it through district administration, right? Now, you see that now the district administration and the industries are going to have some kind of views that whether your CSR fund is serving any kind of common good purpose or not. Now industries are coming to academicians like us that you design some kind of programs along with us so that we can really skill the people and can make them employable. Recently in our university or in your university also, Mahindra Pride classes happened. What was the purpose? Is that to make the students more employable because industry supported project is there. So here we are addressing the youth leadership. Then who is going to address? The person who is already a practitioner, who knows what is the industry requirement. So they are developing an industry-ready skilling program and delivering through different institutions or through different non-governmental organizations. Your objective is that to create an employable youth. If I'm creating an employable youth, I can again take back as my talent. So that is another way where you can address this particular issue. But it is not accepted in a very primitive stage. In Western countries, they are progressive thinker. They are very well accepting the things, but it will take a lot of time in India. Progressive organization, for example, your Tata Group of company, they are using HR co-creation. HR co-creation as an approach. That is also, they have always a stakeholder approach from the very beginning. So they had from the very beginning, it is a purpose-based organization. You know that they don't believe in earning profit and hoarding the wealth. They want to distribute the wealth through different mechanisms. So that should be some kind of changes within the leadership has to be there. So if leader is accepting, of course, we can go for this approach. Another thing we can remember, the problem is that the HR people are not having that kind of powerful status within the organization where they can influence as in change agent. So more they have thorough understanding of the business, the strategy, the societal requirement, the future, more they can contribute. And if they meaningfully contribute, then leaders can also have a trust on these people that yes, we can implement. So it is a both way we can.
That is exactly.
Yes. So we as an academician should take up such kind of projects so that we can really convince the people to make some kind of experimentation and see the result. That can be done.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. We have a question from Dr. Ashok Kumar Das.
Yes.
He asked, why suddenly this wake-up call to Common Good HRM?
It is not a wake-up call. It is rather, I say that whenever sustainability issue started, sustainability entered into every discipline of the organization, be it marketing, be it production. So why HR will be left? So then the second question comes that even nowadays, all of you can see that whatever talent we are getting from different industries and different organizations and to our own, we are not getting that kind of things which are expected. People are not staying in the organization, leaving. There is a high turnover rate. So we must have some kind of things. We should not just exploit the people without having some kind of meaningful life for them. And it is the other way around also. You cannot just exploit the organization and always have a safe side for you through job security. It both way. So if I have to be sustainable, if my organization has to be sustainable, we have to adopt this. So that is my fundamental thing. That when sustainability came, sustainable HRM came. When sustainable HRM came, then we say that no more the economic goal along with other goals are going to be fruitful unless and until we do something purposeful or value-based. So that is the reason. Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, I have another question.
Somebody has asked us, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I am the only person who always share my slides. Slides are for everyone. I don't want to hoard my knowledge. I'll be rather very happy. I will be sharing to Priya, and Priya will be sharing to those I don't have. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Jab. Yeah.
Ma'am, another question. How do you perceive as an experienced academician and consultant, the role of HRM or HR professionals is going to change? Like, is there any specific function or area where, this direct impact of Common Good HRM approach can be visible?
Yes. First of all, for example, if I ask you a simple question, we are doing a lot of training programs. Even a lot of MBAs, BTECs are coming up. So why they are not employable if the simple question says that they are not skilled? My question is that why they are not skilled? What is their way of learning? When they learn? How they learn? How to make them more involvement in the learning? Have we ever researched on that? So the question comes that we have to create a responsible human being. So responsible human being, a machine cannot create. So artificial intelligence has its own limitation. So responsible human being, another human being can create. So if I create a value-based organization, we are going to create a responsible human being. Responsible human being is going to create a responsible machine learning also. Right. So that is our role we have to play.
Ma'am, we have another question coming up. It's from Dr. Srimant Kumar, D. Srimant Kumar. Yeah. It's how AI is imbibed within HR practice. Like it is like the newest term that is coming up. So if it is something to do with our topic, madam, you can address the question.
I am not a very competent person in the AI, but one thing I understand, I'll give a simple example. In a classroom situation, I can give you, then we can extend it. Suppose I see that students are very attentive. It seems to be they're very attentive. But actually, when we are taking their images and processing the images, we can really get into the attention span and the learning style and other things. So we can find out the meaningful way through which learning takes place to the optimum possible extent. Simple thing, as I told in my earlier session, is that machine learning and human learning should go together. And here we have a mediating variable which we are also researching, that is called your knowledge management. Human learning and machine learning is creating a knowledge management process within the organization which go for organizational learning. So in that way we can do. So a lot of research, all of you can also do that, how machine learning and human learning go simultaneously through knowledge management to create organization. That is also another thing which we are also doing a research on that. Right.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. So we have reached to the ending of today's session. So I would like to propose a formal vote of thanks. Thank you, Dr. Padmalita Routray, for your beautifully explained deliberation on how sustainability is futuristic and a challenge for the current business, as well as it is also affecting the understanding of the academicians who are dealing with the students and making them organization ready, and how the HRM also has a purpose driven role to play in this context. So thank you very much, madam, for your valuable time and valuable input on this new concept. I would like to thank Mr. Sudhir Sharma, President, AIMS, all the board members for successfully, organizing and making this learning experience happen. I would also like to thank the AIMS Secretariat, and lastly, all the participants who have joined for this session. And I hope that every one of us are taking something back as an academician, as an industry personnel. So we will definitely think about this particular topic and how we are going to incorporate this into our different, professional avenues for the future of HR. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.